so let's get started. We are talking about 1905 today. To be honest, we planned that one for 2 hours, and we will for sure don't need 2 hours because there is not that much to say. There is some very interesting points, but from a feature perspective, it's not that much as if it would really fill the whole time. I will probably have a talking time frame of half an hour, and then we can have Q&A. And that's it, just for your planning. So I will give you at least an hour back, except you have additional questions, and then we can use the time for that purpose. Okie dokie. So let's just resume the share again. As always in the shorter What's New sessions, there is no slides or something. We will simply use the What's New documents. In the current case, I decided to use the PDF What's New rather than the What's New book that you can find in InfoCenter. There is a bit more in here. And we are going to start immediately. If there is anything wrong regarding visibility or audibility, you let me know. And if there's any questions, just jump in. You can unmute yourself in the bar on top or bottom of your screen. Okay, so scenario as always, we are in the middle of it. First, and from my perspective, most important information regarding 1905 is the fact that you are the Java dependency we had so far. Because of the transport technology JNLP or Java Web Start we were using to launch the Enable Now client application with a homegrown launcher system called Enable Now App Launcher. Function-wise, it's exactly the same. That's the important part. So there is no magic, it's just the same. But the ending of the URL to be used is not JNLP anymore, but SANL, which comes with one big advantage, which is not written down here. I mean, we look at this, most likely you all already read the What's New, but we look at this from a consulting perspective. So this is just my 5 cents that I want to add here. These days, when there was only JNLP, we had issues, especially regarding auto-starting the desktop assistant. Yeah, because whitelisting the ending, the file, the MIME type JNLP network wide was something that the security officers didn't like for a reason. I wouldn't have done this neither to open an auto executable application transport mechanism without the possibility to restrict the source server. So JNLP could fall from the sky. This is a common technology. Now we just replaced it with our own one. So the MIME type to be cleared and whitelisted is now SANL, which most likely leads to less distraction on customer side. Yeah, so first of all, and most important, that was the original reason why we did that, was getting rid of the Java dependency. So there's no Java installation necessary anymore on the end users clients. But the good side effect is that we now have a more precise security clearance requirement regarding the network of the customer. Yeah, so but in general, there is not much more to say. Except the fact that there is an MSI that you can download from your cloud manager called Enable Now Launcher that you take and make it being rolled out in the infrastructure of the customer. And after that, the file type .sanl is registered by this application. And this application does exactly the same as Java did before, but without Java. So that's the good news. That's quite a big one because there were lots of complaints regarding our Java dependencies, and especially based on the fact that Java will now, or Oracle will now charge for the JRE sooner or later. This is something that we just have to have in mind in the context of new implementations and have to inform existing customers about, and most of them most likely will be happy. Yeah, besides that, it's the same approach. It's a URL just as before. So auto starting is still not possible without the browser coming up. And if you have no chance to whitelist the SENL MIME type, then you will still have to answer that one question. Do you want to open that file or save it? There are some registry hacks to avoid that, which are not really recommendations, but it's possible. Yeah, so if there is interest, you drop me a private message, and then we're going to summarize all this and open a thread in Jam about that if there's any interest. But there is work in progress for getting a real seamless startup going on right now. So minor, and I believe we can skip that from a demo perspective. It's now easy to edit links, to remove links, to complete link. Dialog was changed to have display text plus link text. So it's a proper feature now. Yeah, that was the missing link. I don't think that I have to show you how that works, because you can do that on your own, or press the Enable Now button in the What's New document and see the corresponding simulation. That's the next big one that we need to talk about intensely, which is the full Chrome support, which foresees the Chrome plugin being installed. You know that the Chrome plugin comes or is shipped basically with any of our installations, whether it's a cloud or it's an on-premise installation, that doesn't matter. It fell on our feet a couple of times quite hard in the last month. This is why I'm just emphasizing on the fact again that you should foresee the plugin to be rolled out by the client IT as a mandatory plugin, and not rely on the fact that our installers bring it, because of one simple reason. If a Chrome plugin is installed by a secondary application, it's a so-called optional plugin. That means the single user might deactivate it again afterwards, which leads to the fact, in our case, that our famous cross-browser recognition that we have since this release will not work anymore. Clear. Yeah? So no plugin, no translation, so nothing will work anymore. If the Chrome plugin is rolled out by the client IT as a mandatory plugin for Chrome, especially if Chrome is the standard browser for the customer, or on the other hand, if the customer's IT does not even allow you to install optional plugins, the single user would be very restricted. In that case, you have to roll it out, and this takes time. As any rollout takes time. Yeah, so this is something that you just have to have on the radar from a planning perspective. Talk about it soon and do it soon to avoid any delays, especially any hiccups regarding productions that take place where the object and page recognition is not working properly as expected, simply because of the fact that the plugin is not there. So now it's possible to record in Chrome, finally, because especially in North America, it's more and more moving away from Edge and IE to Chrome as a standard browser company-wide. So there is no restriction no more. We can record in any. And in this context, introduced in the last release, as you remember, we have the generic web application recording profile in place now, which is used for any of the existing recordings. For recordings in any of the existing or supported browsers, so Edge, IE, and Chrome. Take care about one thing. Is there a question? No. Take care of one thing regarding existing Internet Explorer recordings. Yeah, so there are tons of Internet Explorer recordings using the Internet Explorer v2 profile around. Just saying that we now support Google Chrome in any scenario, just as we did with Edge last year, does not necessarily mean that a recording that was done with the Internet Explorer v2 profile and was properly resolved